Okay, this video is to explain an example which is similar to the starter code that will be provided for the DSAA exam, final exam. So over here we have some of the sample classes that will be provided. There's a camera which is provided but isn't really used because it'll be a single viewport application we're looking at. The other components that are added is I've implemented a game component class called myComponent, which is of type drawable component. And as a result, the base behavior for this is obviously to add itself to a set of components. And then we have another class here which is called game utilities. And game utilities holds a copy of the device manager should you need it anywhere around the game components, although if they're all implemented as game components you probably won't need that, and a reference to the content manager that can be filled in. The most important one here is a dictionary of texture 2Ds indexed by string, and this is used quite a bit around the components to actually draw the textures associated with game components. So in the case of this, I'm pulling back the image so that I can work out the bounding rectangle size, and again that will be used for collision detection. Would need to be updated if characters are moving around the screen as well, which would happen in the update. So here we have an update which doesn't do anything in this base class at the moment, and then we have a draw. Now the way the draw works for everything that subclasses this game component is we have a service added, and this will be added in the game1 class in the sample project as well. We use this as a holder for whatever image we want to deal with, which is associated with the name. Right, so every time we create a game component we use an image name, and then we store that image name away, and then that image name is used to pull back out the image from the game textures, which we'll fill in game 1 now in a minute. And then we just have the standard sprite batch call, again with the camera translation, so you have to have an instance of the camera in the game, even though we're not going to use the camera for this example. And then we're drawing the image using the bounding rectangle. Now if you're going to move an image around, you'll have to update that bounding rectangle every time you move it, but probably not in this class, probably in a subclass. So I've subclassed this game component class with an enemy class. So this is my example that I'm using in this. Again, you can add in additional attributes for any subclass of a game component. And then you can override all the game component methods, which are drawable game component methods, initialize, load content, although we won't be needing them. And then an update. So for an enemy in this example here, I'm programming a left mouse click. Again, I've provided the input engine is the input manager class, which you can see over here, and that has all the functionality that we've used previously. So what we're doing here is if we left mouse click on an enemy game component, then if the mouse position is in the bounding rectangle of this game component, then I'm retrieving again from the audio manager, is implemented in this solution as well. I'm retrieving from the audio manager sound effects dictionary, as you can see highlighted here, again based on the image name, and then getting back the sound effects. Then I create an instance of it and I play it, and then I set it equal to false. So that has the effect that when we run it, the enemy will be there on the screen. We click on it, it'll play the sound and it'll activate equal to false, which will mean that it won't update and it won't draw from that point onwards. So that's the main components. So we have a game component and then enemy subclasses game component. There'll be a couple of other types of objects in the sample, such as a player and others that will subclass game component as well. The key issue here is that we actually draw the texture from a dictionary, which needs to be filled in first of all in game 1, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about.